Hi everyone, my dear students. This is Karthishwaran, your computer science master. I welcome you all once again. We are going to learn about computer science and computer application topics through the online platform. Why? Because now we are in a pandemic situation due to COVID-19. So you all are stay home and stay safe and use the online platform learning process in a very effective manner. I hope you all are following the same restrictions and rules and regulations regarding about everything. Once again, I welcome you all, my dear children. So today we are going to start chapter number 1, Introduction to Computers. So this topic especially, we are going to discuss about what are the concepts are available regarding about the computers and what are the history about computers and what are the generations of computers and what are the basic different operations of computers and what are the components and what are the functions are available in the computers. Then finally some of input and output devices we are going to discuss. So these are the learning objectives of chapter number 1, especially from the topic Introduction to Computers. Shall we start? Yes. So before we have to start, we have to see some introductions regarding about the computers. So children, you all are aware about computers nowadays. Why? Because computers are seen everywhere around us in all the spheres of life, in the field of education, even a research station and travel and tourism and weather forecasting and social networking, then finally e-commerce, etc., etc. These are the different platforms we have to use computers everywhere nowadays. And this computer have now become an indispensable part of our life. Yes, all of you agree this point. And the next one, it have revolutionized our lives with their accuracy and the speed of performing a job. Yeah, of course, it is a truly remarkable one. Today, no organization can function without a computer. Is this correct or not? Yeah, of course. In fact, various organizations have become nowadays paperless. That means it is a digitalized one. Okay. And computers have evolved over the years from a simple calculating device to high-speed portable computers. Yeah, of course. In an ancient period, it is a simple calculating device. From that period, nowadays, it's just a high-speed portable computers. So this is a evolution of computers over the years. Okay, we'll see what are the informations and all. And apart from these information, computers is a very important needful machine, and it will be do so many calculations performing a very fastest manner. The manual method of computing was slow and prone to errors. Yeah, of course. Without machine, suppose we are going to do any calculation in the sense, it have some errors and also the process of calculation is very slow. So these are the negative points regarding about manual method of computing. But with the help of machine, we have to overcome all the errors and all the mistakes. Why? Because the machine should be done the calculation in a very fastest manner. So we have to develop fast calculating devices. Now the journey starts from where? At the very first calculating device, abacus. Did you aware that? Abacus means what? It is one of the very first calculating device in the world. Now in this device should be grown by extremely high speed calculating devices nowadays. So from the beginning to end, we met so many historical events and historical devices we have to grasp. So what are the different types of calculating devices are there? We'll see one by one. Okay, so see the children, this is the very first early computing device. Yes, its name is what? Abacus. So this is a structure of abacus. So this is a diagrammatic representations regarding about abacus. In the year 2500 BC, it is the very first known calculating machine used for counting. Yes, see that this is a machine. Sorry, this is a device. The next, the another important calculating device is nothing but Napier's bones. The device name is what? Napier's bones. How the name should come? The Napier's bones was invented by John Napier in the year 1614 AD. He is a Scottish mathematician as an aid to multiplication. What purpose this device was introduced means to do the multiple calculations. So this is about Napier's bones. Number 3, it is another calculating device is nothing but slide rule. The name is what? Slide rule. The slide rule was invented by William Arthurd in the year 1633 AD. So he is a person, and this is the device. What is that? Slide rule. It is also one of the calculating devices in the earliest period. Okay, right. The next, another important early computing device. The name is what? Rotating wheel calculator. The rotating wheel calculator was invented by French philosopher. His name is what? Blaise Pascal in the year 1642 AD. This machine especially using for what purpose? It is the simple components such as gears and levers. You have to use some gears and levers. They can find the calculating process. This is the structure of rotating wheel calculator. Okay, right. The next thing, yes, he is the person. His name is what? Charles Babbage. He is the person, the father of today's computer. Okay, so this person was introduced, the device name is what? The difference engine. This device was introduced by the great British mathematician Charles Babbage in the year 1822 AD. And he is one of the British mathematician, and also he is an engineer which mechanically calculated mathematical tables. Babbage is called the father of today's computer. You all are very know about this information. Who is the father of computer? Charles Babbage. Don't forget, my dear children. Right? So this is a difference engine machine. See how is it looks like. It's very big machine. Looks like a room, right? Yes. The next thing, Hollerith tabulating machine. This is another important machine is used for calculating process. This machine especially was introduced by Hermann Hollerith in the year 1890 AD. Using for what purpose? Calculating purpose. How to use this machine with the help of punched cards. It was designed by this person, and he is also one of the American statistician. Understood? So this is a machine of tabulating machine is invented by Hollerith. Okay, don't forget. So these are the different types of calculating devices we are discussed. The next thing, he is the person John van Neumann. He is the person was introduced stored program concept in the year 1940s. John von Neumann is a person who proposed that a program be electronically stored in binary number format in a memory device, so that the instructions could be modified by the computer as determined by intermediate computational results. So nowadays, whatever the data we can give to the computer, first of all, it will be stored into the memory. Then after that, it will be performing the process. Then finally, it will produce the result. So this is a procedure. So this stored program procedure concept was introduced by John von Neumann in the year 1940s. Don't forget, my dear children. The next thing, who is the first program in the world? The answer is Lady Ada Lovelace. She is the only person developed the first program in the world. So Ada Lovelace, whose real name was Ada King, Countess of Lovelace, and she is a daughter to the poet Lord Byron. He is widely considered to be the world's first computer programmer. So who is the world's first computer programmer means? The name is the one and only the person Lady Ada Lovelace. Okay, right. So these are the brief history about the calculating devices, stored program concept, and finally the first programmers. So we are discussed some basic and historical informations regarding about computers. Okay, yes. The next topic, generations of computers. This topic especially we are going to discuss about what are the various generations of computers based on the technologies. Okay, so we have 6 different types of generations in our syllabus. Okay, so all the generations of computers based on various stages of development. Computers, it can be categorized into different generations. We'll see one by one. The first generation is during the period 1942 to 1955. This is the duration. Please note of it. This duration, the first generation of computers, the main components are used by vacuum tubes. Okay, so this is the main component we are used in the first generation. So this is a structure of vacuum tubes. Once these vacuum tubes are used, it will consume more power. That means more electric power. And obviously, the size of the machine is very big in size. And due to overheat, it will done a malfunction. The malfunction due to overheat. Meaning, due to the overheat, the system was produced somewhat malfunction result. This generation, which language was used? That is known as machine language. So in the first generation, machine languages was used for performing the calculation or performing the process. So here we gave some of examples for the first generation of computers. One is ENIAC, number 2 EDVAC, number 3 UNIVAC1. So these are the examples of first generation of computers. So we'll see these example. So this is a first generation of computers. Students, please watch this image. This is the structure of first generation computers. How is it looks like? It looks like a very big room in size. All of you agree? All of you seen that? Yes. The weightage of this ENIAC type of computer is 27 tons. And the size is 8 feet into 100 feet into 3 feet. That is, what is the measurement of these three? Length into breadth into height. Okay. So 8 feet into 100 feet into 3 feet. This is the size of the computer, and it consumed around 150 watts of power. This machine was consumed around how much watts of power? 150. So this is the first generations of computers examples. This is what type of computer means ENIAC type computers. Okay, right. Number 2, second generation. So this second generations of computer was used in the year 1955 to 1964. Okay, so this second generation, the main components are used by transistors. In the first generations, we have used what main component? That is vacuum tubes. So instead of vacuum tubes, in the second generations, we are used transistors. So what are the merits and demerits of the second generation? It was smaller compared to the first generation. Which one? The second generations of computers was smaller when compared to the first generation. It generated less heat when compared to the previous generation. It generated less amount of heat energy, and it was consumed less power compared to the first generation. Why? Because we have to use transistors, and punched cards were used for giving the inputs. And this generation, the first operating system was developed. Okay, and also we have to introduce batch processing and multi-programming concept. And this generation we have to use operating system machine language as well as assembly language also introduced and also used. So children, these are the important points regarding about the second generations. What are they? These are the list of points. Okay, you just note of it for all the points. Each and every point is very, very important. Okay, so these are the examples of second generations of computers. One is IBM 1401, number 2 IBM 1620, number 3 UNIVAC 1108. So these are the different types of examples of second generations of computers. Now see the image representation. So this is IBM 1401 computers type. This entire machine should be called as computers. And this is another example of second generations of computer, UNIVAC 1108. See the structure of the second generations of computers. Okay, right. Then number 3, third generations of computers. So in this third generations of computers, we are used in the year 1964 to 1975. These are the periods we have to use third generations of computers. So in this generation, we have to replaced by integrated circuits. Instead of transistor in the previous generation, we have to introduce or used integrated circuits. Simply we call IC. This is IC. This is the structure of IC. This IC, once we are used in the third generations, when compared to the previous two generations, the size of the computer was drastically reduced. Okay, the size will be totally reduced, and these computers are very smaller and also very faster and more reliable. The faster means what? The execution speed is very, very high when compared to the previous generations of computers, and also it was more reliable. More reliable means we can use different platforms. Okay, and it consumed less power. Less power means the energy, electrical energy will consuming very less. And this generations we have to use high level languages are used. Okay, high level language means like C, C++, like that. Okay, some of the examples of third generations of computers like IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 series. You see the image of third generations of computer. So this is the image representation of third generations. The first diagram is IBM 360 series computers, and this is Honeywell 6000 series. So these are the third generations of computers. The next generation is fourth generation. In this fourth generations, we have to introduce the main component as microprocessor. So this generations we have to used in the year 1975 to 1980. So this generation especially we are introduced VLSI type of microprocessor. That means very large scale integrated circuits. Okay. So once we are used this type of circuits, your system was very, very smaller and also become very faster. The size is very small, but at the same time the execution speed is very, very high. This generation especially we are introduced microcomputers. Okay, so microcomputers are we are introduced in the year 1975 to 1980, and this generation only IBM and Apple were developed. IBM and Apple company were developed. You know well, IBM means what? International Business Machine, And Apple is a world famous electronical company. They are manufactured electronic devices like smartphones, laptops, tablets, PCs, etc. etc. And this generation computers are very portable. Very portable means what? We can use so many systems. We can transfer the information by one system to another. Okay, and you can use anywhere at any time. So that's why we call it as a very portable computers. So what are the examples of this fourth generation is our desktop computers. Nowadays we have to use in our house. So many students having a desktop computers, right? So this is the example of fourth generation of computers. So this is a microprocessor. The world famous microprocessor manufactured company is Intel. Nowadays you know well Intel i3, i5, i7 process, right? So this is a processor. What is the name of that? Intel Pentium. So this is what type of processor? Microprocessor under VLSI type. The next, this is the image of fourth generation of computers. You know well, these computers only nowadays we are used in our house, right? The next, fifth generation. This generations we have to use under the year 1982 till date. So this generation especially, what are the main components we have to use? ULSI type of microprocessor. Please note down. This generations we are using ULSI. That means ultra large scale integration. So this generation especially, we are introduced to parallel processing and also superconductors also we have to use. Okay, so parallel processing means at a time we can do multiple process. Understood? And computer's size was drastically reduced, and it can recognize images and graphics also. And this period only we have to introduce the artificial intelligence concept. Now this concept is a very famous technological concept nowadays around the world, and we can use this artificial intelligence from this generation onwards. And especially this artificial intelligence and expert systems, it can able to solve high complex and problems, it including some decision making and logical reasoning aspects also it will be performing. So these are the different works will do with the use of concept artificial intelligence and expert systems. These are the very important informations about the fifth generations of computers. And artificial intelligence, this is the best example. Looks like a robotics or robot. Automatically it will prove their intelligence artificially. Okay, all right. The next and last generation is sixth generation. In this generation period is in a future, not at now. Still it will be researching. In future we can apply this sixth generation computers. So this generation we are using both a parallel and distributed computing process. And this generation the computers are become very smarter, faster, and also very smaller. And this generations they are planning to development of robotics concept, and they have to introduce natural language processing, that is simply we call NLP. And they can develop the voice recognition software also. So we can see these generation information in a very brief manner. Next slide also see that. So in this sixth generation computing, the computers could be defined as the era of intelligent computers. It will be based on artificial neural network concept. Okay, and it is one of the most dramatic changes in the sixth generation will be the explosive growth of wide area networking, where the growth should be applied. Wide area networking, we can use the sixth generations of computers in a very expensive and also explosive growth. The next information, NLP. NLP means natural language processing. It is a component of artificial intelligence. Yes, it is one of the very important component of artificial intelligence. So this natural language processing is very much helpful to do the best performance of computers in the 6th generation computers. It provides the ability to develop the computer program and to understand human language in very easiest manner. How it is possible? Why? Because the natural language all are included in the system and it will be performing in a very easiest way to understand as based on or as well as our human language also. Using the human language also we can apply for this 6th generations of computers. So these are the another important informations about the 6th generations of computing. So students, we are finished this topic. So we have 6 different types of generations based on their development of technologies. So this is a very important 5-mark question. So you have to follow the informations as per the textbook and also through this slides. Okay, right. The next concept we'll see in the next class. Thank you.